Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the RuneQuest rules by Chaosium Incorporated. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Strong language, mature scenes, and rune magics are on the way. As this is our Glorantha, we will remind listeners that it may vary from the one you already know and love. And now, on to the show. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I'm your storyteller this evening, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and we are back with our RuneQuest Adventures in Dragon Pass, our game within the world of Glorantha. We'd like to welcome you in, and we'd like to remind you that our Glorantha may differ from the ones you know and love. And that's perfectly okay because it's supposed to. Talk to any of the God Learners. Promise, they'll tell you that. At the top of the show, I'd also like to remind you that you can, if you would be so willing to not only listen, but also support the show at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/theoldwayswitch. And now we will get to introductions, which begin to my right.
Hi, everybody. This is Heather. My pronouns are she, her. I am playing Lysana of the Heraborn, who is currently holding on to the threads of her goddess because otherwise it's going to get ugly.
Wait, it's not ugly yet?
Oh, it can always get uglier.
I don't like that idea. Next to Lysana.
This is Jake, and I'll be playing Varghast. And decisions were made, dies were cast, things are going to happen.
Oh, yeah, totally. That's the best part, things actually happening. And then next to Varghast.
Hi, this is James. My pronouns are he, him, and I play Finn, the fisherman, who is thoroughly enjoying the city life, honestly, or at least visiting the city. I don't know if you'd want to build a home here.
I see Finn as a traveler. He's far, far too tied to that water rune to want to be held down in any one reservoir. Next to Finn.
This is Morgan, and I play Alara. Our pronouns are she, her, and I am a chosen one of Marangor, goddess of earthquakes and quake peace. And I also have my good friend Finn that I like to hang out with, as well as my shadow cat, our cat. And there might be some additional sacrificing going on in the episodes to come, as needed.
I like the sound of that. And last, but most certainly not least.
Hi, this is Rena. My pronouns are they, them. I play Faisal, any and all pronouns, initiate of Humacht and of Heller. And still holding on very tightly to the idea that I did the right thing. Trying to believe that I did the right thing anyway. I'm sure, yeah, that's what we're going with.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. There's a lot of challenges when it comes to the road that you choose to walk. But hopefully everything will work out in the end. That's what you have to trust, one way or the other. So we will part our veil on a very auspicious day, and that would be Freeze Day in Fertility Week and Sea Season. It is the brand new week, and we are going to rejoin our adventurers. You're going to enter Jonstown. And Jonstown wasn't terribly far away from Boldhome. You passed a couple things along the way. Clearly, there was some sort of lunar scout that was sent ahead. This guy got shot twice in the back. And not only that, he had some papers with him. So you're still in possession of these documents. You had some idea of what they were about, likely troop movements for the war. You were able to get some of that piece together because of the person in camp that could speak Peloran. But the next day finds you back on the road and then in Jonstown or arriving there. Now, for you, Faisal, this is a place that you know pretty well, having spent some time here. But for those of you who are not familiar with Jonstown in general, it's basically separated into a couple of different quarters. So think of it like concentric circles that are joined. There's a smaller upper city, right? And that's something that you can see a little higher up. But you are going to enter off of one of the roads here into sort of this lower circle. It's a walled city. There's sparse trees and grasslands around. And then you're going to get an opportunity to go to one of the gates. So you will end up going in through the main gate rather than the south gate, which the south gate, Faisal, which is what you went out of when you left the city. And this is sort of good in a way, right? Because part of what you were supposed to do was find Varghast, at least in effect, find his father and find him. And so you get to sort of check back in with the temple of Humak that's here. But your caravan is going to stop here before it moves on to the next stop. And so as the parade of wagons begin to pull into the city, you get a completely different feel for this place than Boldhome. It is nowhere near as large. Jonstown is probably at this point a few thousand people. So it's a bustling town. It has a grand reputation for being a place of knowledge and for being a place of many temples. You would also all know that it's currently under imperial occupation, much like the rest of, well, almost all the rest of your homeland is. Faisal, you would have a really good idea about this because you would remember last year, at some point, the Crimson Bat showed up here. And so while you probably didn't get a lot of direct one-on-one time with the with the Crimson Bat, that's okay. What you did get was dealing with the fallout. So coming back up this way it's a bit difficult for you almost emotionally because you remember the way the last time you saw the city from this angle. You remember having to comfort families and help heal people who were hurt, deal with, scenes of battles, and then try to parse together your feelings about what the Crimson Bat does. And that when it kills people, it takes their soul. That it does not let them rest, that they do not re-enter the earth. They are captured completely. And so there's a lot of mixed emotions. Finn, you probably like the feel of the city a little bit more, just because it's definitely got enough places to hide just as you're getting through some of the gates. You are making your way up some of the row houses that are here, and you see a sign that says the Puppet House.
Look over at Faisal. What, if you don't mind me asking.
Do you not have puppets in the Vale?
When I was young, we had a caravan go through that had a show of dancing dolls and such, and we were all allowed to go. Varghast's father paid for it. It was nice of him, but not since then. Finn is already taking like 2 or 3 steps towards the door. I'll catch up with you guys.
Don't spend everything you've got in one place, Finn.
I can always make more, he says with a smile as he enters the door.
So you'll learn pretty quickly that the Puppet House is an inn, but you'll get a chance to step in there and sort of see what they have to offer. For the rest of you who are not splitting out, getting into the space here where the Great Market exists is not more than like 5 minutes. The wagons pull through and they get to the Great Market and find a place to stop. And you watch the caravanners begin sort of exchanging and offloading goods and then preparing to unload. The head of the caravan, Varghast, comes down to you and says, we'll stop here for a few hours and then get on our way.
Okay.
If you need to pick up any supplies, this would be a good place to do it.
Very good.
Be careful of the newcomers here.
Yeah. Remind me quickly, did he say that the sage was in Jonstown?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you, I turn to him, do you know where this man could help us?
He would be at the house of Lankarmai. It's up. He looks, turns around and sort of points down, back, almost back the way you came. He points almost southwest. Take Scholar Street there. There's a building. You can't miss it.
Thank you. Anyone want to go with?
I'll come with. And otherwise, it's probably off to the temple, but it's probably better if we don't split up too much. I think Finn will be able to get out of most scrapes, but let's go.
Yeah.
It doesn't take most of you very long to see that there is a somewhat newly constructed building here, not terribly far off of the main road, and that would be a shrine or temple to the Seven Mothers. The differences in architecture are very striking. So I love the idea of taking an example of a building, let's just say, and I'm not saying this is the motif necessarily, but let's just say that a lot of Sardarite buildings are more Norse styled. And what I'm going to do is right in the middle of a Norse village, I'm going to stick an Italian villa. Shingles, the whole thing. It's going to look weird.
It'll stick out a little bit.
It sure does. And there are lunar soldiers here, and there are people plying their trades outside of it, proselytizing, etc. Music. There's a lot of music coming out of that place. So if the two of you are going to go check out the or talk to the sages, etc., I'll ask Faisal, and then we'll get to Alara and see what they are up to.
I'm going to the Temple of Humokt. I need to talk to my sword brother.
Mm-hmm. You head up processional way, and so you head up the incline off out of the market and head down towards Holy Street, which is where where your brother is, where your sword brother awaits, most likely. And then Alara, what about you? What are you and Arcat doing?
We will probably go. Is there any inns around that allow animals?
Yes.
That allow animals in them.
Oh, that allow animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few of them here that would. I'll say that the Jellied Eel Inn is one which would allow animals.
Okay, I will go with myself and Arcat. And we'll go to the Jellied Eel Inn, and I'll order mead, and it's something for Arcat, like some raw meat or whatnot.
Sure. Okay. Get the cat fed. It has to stay outside, but they do serve the food for it, and they have a bowl which it can certainly drink water or something like that from.
I'll sit outside with Arcat with my cup after I pay, and I'll sit against the wall and kind of people watch and make sure Arcat is not lonely and doesn't go wandering off.
Okay. Sounds good. So the Temple of Lankarmai is quite interesting. It is a strangely shaped building at first when you look at it. And then you realize, Vargas, exactly what this shape is. This is the Truth Rune. But you're just looking at it. You're not looking at it from forward or top down. You're looking at it from a different angle. You recognize it immediately.
Yes.
Like, okay, here's the front of the building, and there are two wings, essentially, that come off the side of it. Certainly something that you are familiar with, the rune, anyway.
Very much.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have any issues getting inside. There's no fee or that sort of thing. But opening the doors to get into the temple, you see that they have tables that are set aside where people are doing what appear to be learned studies at. There's a space off to the right where people are giving classes or some type of oratory. And there are attendants that are somewhat nearby that are keeping things in order. One of them comes over and says, "The blessing of truth to you, my son, how can I help you?" Because you see an enormous beard on this woman?
We were interested in finding a sage that could decrypt something for us.
Decrypt. That is a uncommon word. What is it what mystery do you have with you?
I have some papers that have a code written in them.
I am Shauna the Lesser. I can certainly assist you with a linguistics challenge. Come over here, out of the doorway. And she sort of looks back out the doors that you came in, and you can see that there's just people that sort of like mill out around the front of this place. She says, secrets are something we need to be careful with.
Very.
These halls of truth, I'm sure, will hold them only so much, but we do appreciate time and discretion.
Certainly. It is important to understand that whatever you have for us to look at, we will simply seek the truth.
All right. Well, I pull the papers out.
Okay. She has you lay the papers out, and there's the seal that has been broken that you got into. She looks down at it for a moment. Oh. And may I ask where you came across these?
We found them on the road.
That's not entirely accurate, is it?
Well, they were on the road.
She strokes her beard.
There was an attack and a scuffle, and in the aftermath, these papers were left behind.
Very well. I see the mark on them.
I'm sure.
It's a seal of a Tarshite house. These are written in Peloran. I can only assume that the former possessor was a lunar scout, soldier, something like that?
Yes, it was a lunar scout.
We believe so. I don't believe more confirmation occurred. We were part of a caravan, just helping out.
I see.
So,
Well, worry not, Priestess. We are happy to help, but our services are at cost.
Of course.
And so if you will simply pay my fee, then I can give you some gleaned knowledge.
Okay. And how much would your fee be?
It's 25 Ls
All right.
for an hour's worth of work.
Okay.
and does that include your discretion? I'm assuming within these halls. Let us lay our proverbial cards on the table.
Oh, I don't seek to report back to any of the current or former government. You are here honestly seeking knowledge, and I don't see it as a necessity unless there is something within these scrolls which show cause or harm potential to our temple or this city. Those are my only objections. If there is known harm coming to the city or to this temple or the people, then we must act in respect.
That is perfectly acceptable.
Very well.
And considering that we don't know what's even in them,
Of course.
you would know before us.
Very well. She sort of stares blankly at you.
Okay. I guess we'll leave.
Oh, I would assume you would pay.
Oh, of course. I just didn't know if you wanted to pay at the end.
I get my payment up front.
All right. I count 25 L's.
She takes them. And then you watch her very fastidiously begin to go over the papers. And then what she does is she lays out a sheet of paper next to it and she begins sort of scribbling as she reads. And as she moves, back and forth across these sheets of paper, you can tell that the little, almost brass trinkets or bells that she has in her beard, they jingle. It's not comical by any means. It's a part of their religious and part of the cult itself. It's what they do. But You haven't had a lot of close interaction with Lankermai sages like this, and you realize that you don't remember the last time you smelled this much incense. And it's starting to get real thick in here. And then you turn around and you realize that this teaching class that was behind you is over. And the amount of sage that's being burned could probably compel many demons from their slumber. There are some concerns I have here.
Do you?
Oh, yes. It won't keep me from continuing, but I have some concerns. And this has to do with Whitewall, she says in a really low voice. Are you familiar with the current situation in Whitewall?
Yes, I am.
It is my understanding they are still holding out. There is talk here of a certain number of troops being sent as reinforcements to Whitewall. Their numbers are concerning to, or would be concerning to anyone, perhaps, who was defending Whitewall. It appears the Governor General is planning on moving in another 3,000 armsmen. Whitewall is a staunch and difficult position to take for the Lunar Army. It has been for some time now.
I see. Is there anything else?
There is. There is some concern that it looks like in here that King Harrow may have overplayed his hand with some of the people. There's growing concern of another rebellion. It looks like the Governor General is prepared to deal with it. The note goes in to say that looks like there's concern around Boldhome, that there may be revolutionary forces massing within the capital.
Interesting.
And so Boldhome is requesting additional assistance.
Discomfort and from within. Huh.
Well, if that's all.
Lysana tries to hide a smile.
It is. It is. She rolls the papers back up, then gives you basically the version which you can read.
Mm-hmm.
And she sits back in the chair and takes out a pipe and lights it. The truth of the matter is quite simple. Unchecked and undefended from such an additional force, Whitewall could suffer a defeat. But it isn't without cause that this message could be communicated on. Perhaps someone important could hear it and prepare for something like that.
If we were so inclined.
Indeed.
Well, I thank you for your time.
She nods and then makes a gesture where she sort of touches her chin and then her head and bows to you. Walk in truth.
Thank you.
May the blessings be on of Ronaldo be with and upon you, and of life itself, for life is precious.
Great Mother holds me still.
She holds us all. Well, most of us at least.
Okay. I want to move camera. And I want to move camera specifically to Finn. Because I think that by now, probably about 20 minutes into maybe a drink or so, you've acquired at least a collection of 2 or 3 puppets. And mostly because the Ermali entertainer who was in there needed someone to take over. And when you met eyes with this other entertainer who's wearing this amazing striped outfit and like bells on every finger, he hands the puppets to you and says, I got to take a break.
Fair enough. See you in a bit.
The crowd basically turns to you and wonders how you're going to carry on the story, one which you did not hear.
I involve the audience by getting them to basically shout the names of the characters while I drink and make a joke about, hey, look, you guys can talk while I drink. This act is going famously. And once I have the names, then Finn just makes shit up.
I love
like
that for
on
you.
the spot.
Okay. So give me perhaps an orate roll, or if you are so inclined to, perhaps involve a passion and another skill that you could...
I would like to use my illusion, my illusion rune.
Sure.
If that is... And... Yeah. My illusion rune is at more than 4. It's at 80.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad that it's more than 4. Did you roll a 4?
I rolled a 26 under 80.
Okay,
So no, I didn't roll a 4. But, and then...
Yeah, so plus 20 to the next roll you're going to make for skill. Which skill are you going to plan on using?
The skill will be oration,
Okay.
which gives me a 63 to roll under. And that is a 4.
That's exceptional. So
It was just a roll early, apparently.
that is a special. Okay. So
Yay, it's special.
a couple things happen. You begin telling the story, this story of a Sardarite family who lost someone sadly during the Crimson Bat attack when they were here. But one who was determined and had enough guile to find their way into the city's mayor's office, which has, of course, been occupied by the Lunars, and was able to, in a swift and cunning move, essentially put high-grade itching herbs inside of all of his pants. And it's as you tell this story that you sort of feel the urge to utilize this same trick. It would be fantastic to see someone who couldn't stop itching themselves try to be as proper and as upstanding as, say, a lunarized mayor would need to be. The crowd loves it, so much so that there's a lot of really deep engagement with the story. They sort of take the story in its own way. You're able to, probably within about 10 minutes or so, stop any use of the puppets at all. The crowd is controlling the entire narrative back and forth, and you're really just sitting at the bar and drinking now.
Oh yeah, he's slowly, like an artist, slowly just takes his hands off of and just kind of lets it go and just watches it. Nods with a smile to the bartender as he gestures with an empty mug.
Yeah, you get a refill.
Good crowd tonight.
Yeah, no, it's a heck of a story. I've never seen them go back and forth like this before.
Sometimes a story is best told by the crowd, don't you think?
Seems to be working. That's what you're doing. So we'll go just up the street, just up the street, so to speak, up Processional Way and then onto Holy Street, and we will join Faisal as they return to the Temple of Humak, the rather meager Temple of Humak, next to so many other wondrous and large temples. But the Temple of Humak here in Jonstown is also right next to the mayor's house. But yeah, you return.
So I walk into the temple, side-eye glance at the mayor's house, as everybody does when we go in. And there's probably other initiates, young soldiers, and so on, going around, going about their training, their education, etc. Other warriors returned from assignment. But I'm looking for Kantip, my sword brother who sent me out.
You find Kantip?
Mm-hmm.
You get a hearty hello and a hug when you arrive back. He is happy to see you. You've returned. Did you find this Gordangar?
I found his son. We're working towards finding the father, but I've came across young Vargast is his name, and his companions who survived the fall of the Veil. Been trying to find out what happened to Gordangar himself. But the son is alive.
This is good news. Perhaps his son will want to seek his father out and locate him. But the merchant here who paid me has moved on. Perhaps back to Boldholm, I don't know. Perhaps another place. He did not say where he was going. But I do have a method of contacting him. And perhaps you can continue on with your duties here, unless there is something else that has taken your attention.
I've been traveling a little bit with young Vargast and his friends. I'd like to continue with them for a little while, see if I can find more about Gordengar, but also keep an eye on the people of the Vale, what's left of them.
What did you find?
There's a pause and just close my eyes, and it was burned to the ground. Bodies and death and destruction everywhere. I don't know how many people are left, how many they took. I know they took a few, but not many. And I don't want to leave those who are left on their own for now. They've never been out of the Vale, really. And they're going to be looking for their family. Any that are left, they're going to be looking for a place in the world, and I feel like someone should be there with them for a while.
I agree. I agree with you. I think there is still yet justice to be done for these people. It seems to me that many of the Heraborn, from what I have heard, were wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it will be important to make sure that those who survive continue on the path until they complete their duties. We have had some difficulty with one of the local proprietors. I don't know if you ever met Antenor, the proprietor here of Geozin. In one of the recent attacks last year by the lunar forces, and when the bat was here, I don't know if the two are connected just yet, but it seems that his son is blind now. He is having some difficulty dealing with this. He approached one of our initiates, Karn, and asked for justice. And I, of course, did what I needed to do to educate both the innkeeper and Karn as to the way Umacht works, that we are not mercenaries. It is unfortunate, though.
I look down at the ground for a moment, kind of shift my body weight. Brother, I need your opinion on something that is weighing on me. I think I did the right thing, but when we were traveling here from Boldholm, we came across a man who'd been badly hurt, shot multiple times. He was wearing a red cloak, and I saved his life.
Was he dying?
He was dying. He was at the threshold.
Your sword brother looks a little concerned. Do you believe Umacht asked you to intercede for him?
I don't know. In the moment, it felt we were not in combat with him. He had not attacked us. He had not harmed us. He had done nothing to us. And it felt dishonorable to me to leave him to die when he had not harmed us in any way. And we didn't know what the situation was. Maybe I was wrong. I have been agonizing over it this entire day. But I felt it.
I would expect nothing less. Your love and respect for Umacht is known, even amongst the initiates here, but most of all by me. You act out of a joyous heart, but I do not know that you should have stepped in to save this man. If he was dying, perhaps it was his time. Although, I do like to think that one so close, such as we are, perhaps there would have been guidance. If you should have let him go, I believe that Umokt would have told you. In your spirit, you would have felt it. Although I must admit some surprise at you saving anyone dressed in red.
Hold my fist over the left side of my chest. It rankles me. Oh, it rankles me. But I couldn't act against what my honor told me was the right thing to do in that moment. It burned, but I did it.
It is difficult, especially when you see someone whom you do not know, and you do not know what had befallen them. You said that he was shot with arrows?
Yes.
I believe you are justified. But I would seek insight. Pray to Umokt. May Umokt tell you whether or not you are right, or whether you must atone.
Of course. Is my mother returned?
I have not seen her yet, but I would seek her out should you wish to commune with her before you leave. I assume this caravan will leave at some point?
Yes, later today, I believe. And if we're going to be gone a while, I wish to see my mother and my siblings before I go, as I don't know how long it will be.
Do you know where you're going?
RuneGate.
Well, you will pass through several interesting places.
I'm sure we will. I will. Thank you for your insight, brother.
Be wary on the road there. It has been in the air that there may have been troll activity near Famous Bell.
Don't like that.
No.
I will keep an eye out.
Yes, do so. Okay. So, after all of you have had a chance to do some things, I wonder, just to touch back on Alara really quick, after Arcat gets a chance to eat and gets a chance to, have some water and relax for a bit, are you going anywhere specific? Or are you going back to the caravan itself?
I would probably peruse the market and people watch. Still, just keep my eye on any lunars that I might be wandering around.
I mean, there are many lunars here.
Yep, I go stab them. No, I don't go stab them.
Okay, let's roll initiative.
But it's time. So yeah, I guess I would probably shop for maybe if there's any new arrows and a new bow. Maybe. I think it's about time.
Yeah.
That I get
absolutely.
something.
Yeah, you can certainly do that. I mean, you and Arcat would have basically run of the city. All of you know you probably have about 2 or 3 hours. You'll probably leave just after lunchtime. And so that's going to come up here probably in the next couple hours. They'll wait, and then after the higher heat of the day breaks, they'll move down the road. Just moving about the city after your stop at the Lankermai Temple, there are a couple of other things that the two of you would be pretty close to seeing. One, you'd come back out and you would see Alara and Arcat at the inn next door to the Lankermai Temple. They're eating. It's not terribly far. So you're also not terribly far from the South Market, which is probably where Alara goes to look for a bow and some new arrows and whatnot. So if that is something that you would like to do, you can. You have the big hill behind you, which has all of the major, what looks like all the major temples. It's sort of like, I don't want to make another Greek reference, but I'll make a Greek reference here. It's sort of like that Parthenon style in the sense that like the lower bowl of the city is really where just some basic markets and towns are, like the townhomes and stuff like that. And then higher up are all of the temples. Like there's certainly a temple to Ronaldo here, There is one to, it looks like there is one to Orlanth here, although it does not look in use currently. That's not shocking. And then it looks like there might be a multiple temples to Orlanth here. And they also look like they're bathed in like red drapes now. There's even a temple to the grain goddess. But yeah, you'd have your opportunity to go and use most of the temples, Orlanth notwithstanding.
Right.
But beyond that, there's a few other things that you could potentially do. Finn, you would find after your trip to the bar that there is a place where you can buy these black and white striped clothing pieces.
Oh, excellent. Pants first.
You realize that the legs are too long, but
I'll cut one off, and then I use that to judge how to cut off the other one. And I am no tailor, so they are now different lengths.
Of course.
I'd like to go find a Joe's.
Okay. So you head up the hill after asking a couple of locals for directions, and you find Joe's. So you head all the way up through Processional Way until you get to the assembly ground. So the assembly ground is this flat piece of territory up here where it looks like there are a bunch of lunar soldiers. And then beyond that space, you see a temple to Yamalio. So you see the domed temple, white sort of alabaster structure, and then the big, dome on top. A lot of guys in really, really bright yellow fabrics and armor with pikes and the like. And then not too far from that, you find Joe's, which is across the way.
I'm finding Joe's. Do you want to come with?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
There's a big bathhouse nearby.
Oh, now you made it tough. Bath or Joe's first? I think Joe's first.
Okay.
And then if there's time.
So the structure of Joe's and this one is a longhouse.
Okay.
So this almost feels like going home. Like this structure here is not as residential as some of the other places here. This feels like a traditional, almost Vale style longhouse. Like it feels invigorating to step in here because there's a ton of things here that make sense to you. And Alara, I don't know if since you were with them or saw them, I don't know if you're splitting up or you're going with them or not.
I'm sauntering behind them with my new bow that I'm looking through the equipment book for.
It's fine. You walk into Joe's, and there are a couple things here that are very striking. One, there are men here that stand by the door. They are waiting, basically, for people to come in, and then they stop you and say, "The Joe's is only for friends of Joe."
Did we get something?
You did.
Yes.
Yes.
You have a token.
I show them the token.
Oh, he pats you on the shoulder. Come on in.
Take mine out from my safest place.
Oh, priestess, they'd let you in anyway.
Still.
So they check your tokens and whatnot. And then, Alara, you see something that is just magical. On the inside of this place, it is decorated in many bones. And some of the bones which are decorated in here are massive. Big.
Quake beast bones. That means there could be quake beasts in the area.
There's a man at the end of the longhouse here. There is a bar per se, but it's kind of informal. There's a lot of tables. And he hails you from the end of the room and says, "Come and have a drink, friend. Take a seat and let us know what you need."
All right, I'll sit down, get a drink. So I'm looking for somebody.
Oh, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for a person who would be interested in the fate of our friends in Whitewall.
The bartender sort of like leans forward a little bit.
They could definitely use the help.
All right. I know some people who would probably be pretty interested in what happens to them.
Well, let's just say I came into possession of some orders,
Orders.
troop movements.
You see? Might be a good idea to get them in the right hands.
Yes.
I know someone who could probably do it. A friend of Joe's for sure.
They're going to want to see this.
Well, getting to Whitewall is pretty dangerous these days. But there are ways. There are paths, tunnels that have been built to keep the war effort going. But they're dangerous. All right. If you're willing, I'll take them. And I'll put them in the hands of someone who can get them where they need to go.
Wonderful. So I turn over the papers.
He just takes a quick look at them. I wish I'd never had to learn Peloran.
Filthy language.
He rolls them back up. You see a boy, probably no more than 10 or so, we'll say 10 or so cycles. He's playing with some toys. And he doesn't react to, like, you coming in doesn't react to anything. He's very focused, almost hyper-focused on what he's doing. Need anything else? Food?
Yes, could we get some rations to go?
Oh, certainly. I can package something. He hollers back and asks them to stoke up a package for travel.
I think at least a bite and a drink now would be good.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of time left, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
The bass here aren't to be missed, friend, if you can make time for it.
Indeed.
That's the next stop. But we thought Joe stopping in here first would be a good idea.
Well, the initiates and priestess of Shalana Arroy tend to manage the baths. They're quite refreshing.
Well, maybe we should go see about them.
First, I'm going to finish this drink.
So what you get at Joe's this time around, really anybody who shows up and actually wants food, you get something that you've probably only had once or twice, and it probably came in from like a trader, and it wasn't fresh, but you get what is effectively a beef pot pie, and it sits like a rock in your stomach afterwards. It is so filling, and then the mead. It is what you needed after a long day and night of travel and dealing with all of the other stuff. You do see, Alara, you do see beyond the bones, you do see that there are rather strange leathers that are here as well, like used as seat backs or used as backgrounds for artistic expressions.
So, like, there are artistic expressions on the wall or, like, with the bones?
Both.
Interesting. Would I have any knowledge as to what they mean?
Maybe not what they
Okay.
mean, but you get an intense feeling that, first of all, these are not by any way, shape, or form like cow. Nope. These aren't cow. This is the wrong type of material. You're actually sort of curious what it is.
Look over at the bartender. And what was his name again?
You don't have his name yet. No one has asked.
Oh, good sir.
Yes?
I don't believe we caught your name. I'm Alara.
Antenor. This is my establishment.
Antenor. Oh, I was wondering, you have a really interesting with the bones and the leathers. Can you tell me anything about that and like who put that together and what that might what it means? It seems like it has a significance.
I did.
Really?
I hunt quake beasts.
Oh, for what purpose?
Meat. And the challenge.
Is that what we've been eating?
You have no idea, but now you probably look at your pot pie a little different.
I put it to the side. Oh, so the leathers, like, do they have a significance in the way they're set up?
Oh, they're from different types. Yes. This one over here, he sort of like goes over and says, I caught this beast north of the city, along the river. And he gestures, sort of turns his left shoulder, and you see that on his bicep there is an enormous bite mark that is scarred. It took a piece from me, but it now hangs on my wall.
I feel my insides getting a little warmer.
There's a call from the back of the kitchen. You hear a voice say, "You're not boring them, are you? Don't bore them with those wild stories of you hunting quake beasts." He looks a little deflated. See a woman come out. She's several different packaged goods that she sets on the bar and sort of nods to you, Vargast and Lysana. He loves telling stories, all the old war stories, all of them. He hasn't been hunting anything for years.
There's nothing wrong with reliving the glory days.
Well, if you don't mind me saying so, reliving the glory days are what got us here. Lots of talk, lots of bluster from Sardarite men got us here, with very little action.
May actually not be too wrong. In fact, I don't think it's wrong at all.
Anator turns around. You can tell that his blood is raising, and he says, "Let's be clear about this then. Kalir got us here. Her rebellion failed. That's what happened."
She tried. She fought back. She stood up. That has to count for something, and they're still trying.
All I know is that they occupied this and almost every other city here. And now our children are beginning to talk of the seven mothers and of they're speaking this Peloran filth now.
So it is up to those who actually know of the other ways, the old ways, to teach. Isn't that what we are all taught?
I was taught the old ways. That is what I taught my son.
And that is what we must continue doing, so that they cannot truly win as long as at least one of us stand up. Kalir continues. We must try to keep some faith to that and do whatever we can on our part.
The door opens and you see Finn walk in.
Hey, horsies. Why the long faces?
Oh, just commiserating.
Just to confirm, does Finn have puppets in his hand?
No, but he is wearing a bag on his back, a bag across his back that he didn't have before.
Ah.
But that's neither here nor there.
What happened to your pants, Finn?
What do you mean what happened to my pants? They're fashionable. I've seen at least 2 people wearing them, and everyone I have passed in town has complimented me on them, or they've been a topic of conversation.
Did anyone possibly put a few coins in your palm while they looked at your pants?
Yeah, where do you think I got this tankard? It was fantastic.
Well, that's one way.
In fact, the people here are very nice.
They're comfortable, I would assume.
The ration should keep everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Of course. And then I won't forget what you said about the message.
It's important.
Good. Well, he walks over to the young boy on the floor who's playing with toys, and you see him say something to the child. Aaron. Aaron. He raises his voice. Kid doesn't reply. Doesn't turn. See the mother, assumingly mother, sigh and walk over and get in front of the child and sort of lean down and look at him. And then they get up and move.
Well, until next time, my friend.
Indeed. Go with Joe. And so, I'm going to move camera to Faisal. Faisal, your mother seemingly is back. Why don't you give us an idea of who she is and what she's about and build the narrative of your mother?
So my mother's name is Layla. Layla Broken Shield. She got the name from a battle where she continued fighting with half of a shield and took down 2 soldiers with just her broken shield. She's a Humakti who is retired, allegedly. She spends most of her time training the younger soldiers, the ones who are first starting out, just getting their hands on their swords and their weaponry and so on, because she enjoys showing them what it's really going to be like. She's a bit of an intimidating person, my mother. But she was a fierce warrior and was known for being a fierce warrior, and now trains others to do the same.
Okay. So she probably doesn't live on the upper portion of Jonstown. She probably lives in the lower portion.
Mm-hmm.
She's retired, and so she probably spends a lot of her time at the Temple of Umak, but when she's not there, what do you think that she does now that she's quote unquote retired?
Well, when she's not training the younger soldiers, she spends a lot of time telling stories to anyone who will listen about her exploits, my father's exploits before he passed away, what my grandparents did in their battles, just all these legends and lore, and all truth because she doesn't tell lies. But all of these stories that she knows or that she was part of to anyone who will listen. And she's also spending some time looking after my sister, who is pregnant now with her first child. And so it is not necessarily a common thing for a Humakti who has seen many battles to see the birth of their grandchildren. So she's taking delight in that.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay. And what's your mother's name?
Layla.
Layla. Okay. You find your mother in her house. She keeps a house with a couple of other people within her, we'll just say, community. So these might be retirees from other martial portions. They're probably likely city guards that have been dismissed by the lunar soldiers. And so they're being kept in a space where they can be afforded some reasonable amount of living quarters, but not anything too auspicious. Your mother is very effectively preparing a stew. I say effectively because with a blade in her hand, she is still quite sharp. And, as the root vegetables and carrots and potatoes are being chopped up, you sort of walk into the house as the door to the front room is open. She's humming something that you probably have heard before. It is probably something which is a little bit, rebellious is not the right word, but I would say that it is very, it is an invigorating song of your homeland. That's probably the best way to say it. You pass by within the home here, many of her, again, trophies are the wrong word, but many of her memories that hang on the wall. Many of her memories with your father, many of her, the memories of her former pieces of equipment that are still held in honor and likely just in case. So, you find her in the kitchen preparing something. And she turns around and gives you a measured smile. "It is good to see you, child." She sets the knife down with a very sort of deft thumb and finger on the chopping board.
I bow my head respectfully. "Mother, it's good to see you."
When did you return?
just this morning. I'm not here for very long, I'm afraid. I have a task to complete, but I wanted to see you before I left, but because I don't know how long I'll be gone.
Well, I'm glad you came by. Would sit. She sort of turns to the chairs that are available. She has a very measured gaze, but she says, "What is it about this journey you're on which may cause you to be away for some time?"
Have you heard of what happened to the Heraborn?
No.
Their veil was destroyed by King Kangharl. People were killed. The veil was burned. I saw it myself. And I came across a few survivors. They're younger, maybe 18, just coming out in the world for the first time, and they're coming out after all of that, and they're trying to find what's left of their kin. They're trying to find out what to do next, and I'm going to travel with them for a little while.
Well, King Kangharl never had any love for the Heraborn. He would very commonly forget to count them amongst the tribes, mostly because he felt that they were a disgrace, because they hid in the veil, because they would not bend to being lunarized, because they chose to rebel in their hearts and eventually in their actions. It is regrettable that the veil burned. My understanding is that it was quite peaceful.
It's nothing but ash now.
It's hard to see the reasoning why any king, any man who would call himself king, would feel the need to burn farmers from their homes.
Collaborators only know how to do one thing.
He kept his head. That is what he was offered. And suddenly he was singing the praises of the Seven Mothers and of the Emperor. And now he moves from place to place. Now he seeks to gain support from whatever of his cities which he can. He walks with his own army in hopes of controlling something he cannot. He does not understand that Sartorites are water, living fire, that the air itself, one cannot control them in this way. We are a rebellious and spirited people, and that is why they will lose.
And I'll do what I can to make sure that happens.
I know that you have been through much. I regret not being there.
I know. But what happens to us makes us stronger warriors. It may not make us better. It makes us fight harder.
No one should ever question your will to fight. But there is some truth that there are some fights which cannot be won now, but can only be won at the time at which they should be fought.
A lesson I will learn eventually.
Well, Omok be praised that you have time to learn it.
As much to my surprise as anyone's.
I'm going to get back to this stew. Come and hug me before you go.
I give her a big hug.
She's sort of, when she releases you from the hug, she sort of grabs onto your arm, like your sword arm. And she seems to give it like an extra squeeze. I will be here, cooking stew and waiting.
Give my love to Nusha and Rasul when you see them. And hopefully I will be back soon. In one piece.
Yes, in one piece.
I am going to give her a hug. One more. Sneak it in cheekily. I am going to take a small bag that I leave with her whenever I'm traveling. There is a certain high holy day coming up in a couple of weeks, and I don't know if I'm going to be back in time, so I have to take my things with me. And I will, not quite reluctantly, but it's always hard leaving my mother's home when she's here, and head back out.
Okay. You head back out, likely to reunite with your other caravan folk. So what I will do is, for the moment, close our episode there. And thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter, who've really been interested in us playing more RuneQuest. And so that's what we're doing. And we hope you're enjoying our adventures in Dragon Pass. And so from my chair here, I will say good night and take care of yourself and each other.